down to the neon lights. It's where I want to be, cause I'm just trying to make it.
You're listening to the Diamonds in the Rough podcast.
I'm just trying to make it.
Powered by Prospects Live.
All right, welcome in to this edition of Diamonds in the Rough, presented by Prospects Live. On this show, we're going to talk a little bit about some trades. We got Ryan Webb on the back half, an awesome guy, awesome pitcher that I went to school with, and he's now throwing some professional innings, so it's great to catch up with him. But before we do, just want to talk to you about these guys right here. Pitchers only. It's K season, baby. Always K season. Webby on the back half knows it's K season. Pitchers only is a great brand. Started by father and son. They just got some awesome gear, awesome apparel. Definitely check them out. They got awesome flags like this one in the back that should be in every single dorm room in America and Canada. So these guys are awesome. Use code DNR10 to get you 10% off of all orders. They're going to hook you up well. Send them a message. Tell them how much you love it. Great people, great folks. Help them out. Help us out. Help yourself out. DNR10 for 10% off. And we are officially in the middle of trade season. By the time this releases, the trade deadline will be over with. But we are recording on Monday night, so we don't have Tuesday's news yet. But we do have the trades that's already been. Some of the big ones. Obviously, the Yankees got Montes today and Trevino. The Rays made some moves. Some of our boys got shipped out.
Padres got Hader.
Padres got Josh Hader.
The Yankees also made a very underrated move in getting Scott Efros as well.
Which I want to talk about that here in a minute. The other big move was the Mariners got I just blanked on this. Pitcher.
What's that? Hayden Wesneski that they
traded? No. Who'd the Mariners get? The ace.
Luis Castillo,
yeah. Dude's been on the trade block for 4 years now and finally gets traded. That's where he's in trade rumors.
I saw a trade proposal for Juan Soto at the Rays that had you in it.
Really?
Yeah, it was you, Carson, Taj, Greg, X, and somebody else. Literally
Nationals fleece.
Six of our top 10. I was like,
just another Cole Wilcox trade.
Yeah,
you know how it is. Yeah, that's a Nationals fleece right there. No way the Rays do that. But yeah, let's talk about this guy. He's a rookie, right? I'm correct in saying that. The guy you're talking about that got traded to the Yankees.
Yes, Scott Efros. No, well, I don't know if he's a rookie or not.
I think he is. I think he's a 28-year-old rookie.
I mean, I can remember when he was pitching for the Smokies in 2018. So
I believe he is a 28-year-old rookie. You're a team like the Cubs who are moving into a rebuild. You've traded all your guys, and you're going to continue to trade all your guys that won a World Series. Contreras and Ian Happ's probably out of there. Why trade a rookie with 5 more years of team control? I don't understand that move at all. At all. It was the same thing with the Tigers. They had said earlier in the week that everyone's available, including Scuball. The dude's on his first year of ARB? Still got 2 years left? What's the point of rebuilding if you're just going to trade everybody that makes the big leagues? Especially a guy that has 5 years left of team control. I don't understand that move at all.
Pirates have been doing it for years.
Can you explain this one to me, Shook? Maybe you know more than I do.
I mean, Scott Efros was a name that had been rumored around, so I don't think it's a shock to anybody that the Cubs would trade him. But I do see what you're saying in the fact that why would you trade a rookie away? The only thing I can think of is he's 28 years old.
Right.
Is he around in, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years when the Cubs are kind of starting that climb back up, that ascension? When Brendan Davis, Christopher Morel, all those guys are there. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying, but then again, apparently it wasn't a shock as he'd been rumored multiple times throughout the whole trade rumors and whatnot.
Yeah, nobody really said anything about it. So, obviously, like you said, it was kind of expected. But it just shocked me.
The whole – oh, my gosh.
We got you
Dude,
muted
why
again.
does this thing just default back to freaking Yeti?
I don't know why this thing is beat the freaking camera mic. All right. Anyway, where should I start?
Yeah, Hayden
thing over.
Wesneski that the Cubs got though is a beast. I really like that pickup for the Cubs as well.
Yeah. No, he's been throwing really well.
Dude with a disgusting slider. Like big fan of him. So
yeah, I guess I was just thrown for a loop for the whole Scooball news earlier in the week. Like the Tigers are a team that have a lot of big league ready prospects. Like they have Casey Mize, they have Spencer Torkelson, they have Riley Green, they have all these guys. Like they're not that far away, I don't feel like. And Scooball's a guy who can head that rotation, and he has been. I don't really understand unless you're just getting a fat deal. Like the Nationals, it kind of makes sense. Like the Nationals could get an all-time haul for Juan Soto.
And Juan Soto's also told you he doesn't want to be on your
right,
team
and they have
anymore.
very, very limited. Not limited, but they don't have many big league ready prospects. Like they got a lot of young guys, a lot of guys in AA.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're still a few years away. Like to me, the Tigers are not that far away.
Right.
So I didn't understand that one, but I really don't understand trading a rookie. But
the Tigers also have some guys in AA that are very, very good starting pitchers. Wilmer Flores is one of them. Reese Olson, I think that's his name, is another one. So maybe they're seeing those guys as like, hey, those are our guys that we're pairing with Mize, Matt Manning, and those guys.
Yeah,
but
Matt Manning.
I still don't understand why you trade. I think Scooball's the head of the table in that rotation, in my opinion.
For sure. And he's young. Yeah. I don't know. But I think they're back. I think they backed off of it. I think they got smart. So I think they're done. But I want to talk about some of the guys the Rays traded today, two of our boys, Seth Johnson and Jaden Murray. Seth Johnson to the Orioles, Jaden Murray to the Astros. Is that right?
I believe that's right. Yep.
They're both big league.
Both big league, yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't want to hurt Rays fans' feelings or nothing, but they're Rule 5, so like that's definitely went into it. But Seth is a first rounder. Most all Rays fans know who Seth is. Big fastball. Hadn't been pitching that long. He's having TJ next week, but TJ at this point is like a rolled ankle. So he'll be back mid next year, and just one of the most electric fastballs in the org. Just super easy, hundo. And Jaden Murray is a guy who just shoves every single place he goes.
Everywhere.
You don't really know much about him because
Turbo Singers
in Utah, and he throws 98, and he just absolutely dices wherever he's at. So
he hunts mountain lions and throws fastballs.
Jaden Murray
inches.
There's a good chance in my mind Jaden Murray is with the Astros for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Out of the bullpen, something. Like he's got that good of stuff. Everywhere he goes, he shoves. So other two guys I hated to see leave because I think they're really, really good players, and I like them a lot, both of them. But that's part of it. That's part of the game. And obviously, trades aren't even close to being done.
I was gonna say, what do you think? What's your like blockbuster that hasn't happened yet that's gonna happen?
I think Soto gets traded. A lot of people are saying they don't think so anymore. I think he does. I think the Cardinals are, what it sounds like, are kind of pushing for that. So we'll see. I was kind of hoping Ohtani got traded just because. Speaking of that,
chaos.
there was the MLB Network trade package that had Michael Harris, Kyle Wright, Mueller, somebody else.
Shoemaker.
Good player. Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Listen, that's a great haul for the Angels. But the Braves fans saying no made me want to blow up. That was insane. That's insane. We were running the numbers today, and Slegers was the one doing it, and he said, if you match up the numbers, you're getting Max Scherzer on the mound, and you're getting Matt Olson at the plate. That's what you're getting. That's the numbers that Shohei's putting up comparably this year.
So you're getting two. When they see that, they see one player for 4. They don't see 2 players for 4 guys.
And they see what he's probably going to want to be paid.
Yeah,
year after next, I believe.
But then I see fans in comments like, "Oh, then we got to trade for a center fielder." Okay, do it.
Yeah,
there's way more center fielders out there than there is Shohei Ohtani.
They won the World Series with Adam Duvall in center last year.
You're getting a guy that's going to head the rotation. As good as the Braves rotation is, he's going to be up there. He's probably 2 behind Fried. Could be. You could argue he's 1. And then he's going to hit right in the middle of the order with Riley and Matt Olson.
Yeah.
Lefty bat. Yeah, that blew my mind that people were saying no.
I saw
Would.
something today about Rodon coming to the Rays.
That'd be
Carlos
sick.
Rodon.
The Rays, look, I want the Rays to make a splash, dude. Like, they got a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Glass now could be coming back. Like,
I think the most interesting perspective trade that could be made is Wilson Contreras, because I think if he goes to the Mets, I'll be interested to see what the Mets package, because I believe Francisco Alvarez is. I think that's who the Cubs want.
I would say everybody wants.
And you don't just draft Kevin Parada for no reason, you know.
That's true.
Just my 2 cents.
That's true. I mean, you gotta have depth in the organization. You want to take the best players, so it's hard to read into that for baseball, especially because you gotta have a catcher at every spot. You know?
Right. I just think Parada flies through that system.
Parada rakes.
Yeah.
I want to discuss the Hader deal because I think the most underrated part of this deal is that the Nelson Lamet's going back to the Brewers. When I was in San Diego in 2020, the Nelson Lamet was the best pitcher I've ever watched. And I'm not even saying that as an exaggeration. He was unbelievable. The dude was he was like going to win the Cy Young. I don't know if they even gave him out that year. I think he got hurt towards the end of the year, but he hasn't. I don't think he got surgery. I think he hurt his UCL, didn't get surgery. If that dude gets surgery, has CJ comes back, he is nasty. Gross. Probably the best slider in the league. So I'd keep an eye out on that one. I thought it was funny they traded the guy who was like leading the league in saves, right? And Taylor Richards, like up there other than Diaz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of flopped him. The haters elite.
Yeah, but haters. I saw a stat that until the last month, he went 11 months without giving up a run.
That's a good 11-month stretch.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah.
I would take that.
That gets you paid a lot.
I did throw live since the last.
Oh yeah.
Since the last pod, it went well.
I have confirmation from the guy who caught Cole in his live BP that it was electric.
It was a good outing. It was a good one. I felt good. I said as long as I walked off the mound and felt good, I'd be smiling. So I was. Got another live tomorrow, so we're starting to build up. But yeah, who knows? I might be doing live somewhere else by this time tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. It is trade season. There's one more deal I want to talk about.
Cole's throwing lives, and I'm going on the IL. Unreal.
Yeah. Not good news out of Schnelly's camp.
Probably getting surgery, but we'll see. I don't know. I got an MRI again. My shoulder. We tried to do a cortisone shot to get me through the year. We knew I had a labrum tear. Obviously, for you guys who listened from the get-go, we talked about it. We thought during spring training I was getting surgery, but we did a cortisone shot. Tried to see if I could get through the season. Wore off. Arm's not doing too good, so I got an MRI this morning. The doctor in Charleston looked at it, said that he thinks that surgery is the best option. Gonna have another doctor look at it tomorrow, and then another doctor is gonna look at it here within the next week. So one of the doctors looking at it already said last year that he thought surgery is the right option, and they think it's progressed from what it was. So I'm assuming that he's gonna think surgery is still the option, and then what the other doctor says. So it's looking like surgery is going to be what happens, but we'll see. Who knows?
We will see. But it's always one of my favorite times of the year is the trade deadline. So I'm sure everybody will be locked into that. I think it's a cool part of the sport. So we'll see. I'm really hoping Juan Soto goes. I'm gonna be honest. Whoever gets him, that's nuts. Like I think people are thinking about like the package in the short term, but Juan Soto and whatever lineup he's in makes him a top 5 lineup. Like whoever's trading for him, like think of the teams involved. The Padres still have a huge package for him, even after all this. Like they have everybody available for him. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals, any of them. It could be Machado, Tatis, Soto, or it could be Arenado, Goldschmidt, Soto.
Yeah,
like
even the Cardinals, dude. Like
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Any team that's in the market to trade for him instantly becomes a top 3 lineup. I'll go that far.
The Dodgers would be literally.
Imagine the Yankees.
Yeah.
LeMahieu, Rizzo, Stanton, Judge.
Dude, we were talking about this the other day, and I think that because of the year the Yankees are having, like obviously their lineup is unbelievable. But think about the Dodgers have Mookie, Trey Turner,
Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman. Like, dude, like their lineup is just as good as the Yankees.
They're getting Dustin May back too.
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah,
And they could literally call Bobby Miller up at any time, and he's going to be an elite pitcher.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about Walker Buehler this year, but that guy's
I'm sure
always
he's
a freak.
probably just
He's
having
always a freak.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? Judge hit another homer as we were recording.
Did he? 41?
I think it's about 43 right now.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, I think he was at 42. 43. Oh my God.
Is he gonna get 70?
For him to hit 66, he needed to hit one every 2.9 games, so one every 3 games basically. And that was yesterday, and he hit another one, so that number just went up.
His numbers in like the last 14 games or something, he's got like a 1.8 OPS.
I hope he breaks. What is it? 72 is Bonds or 76?
I don't remember. What does it show? You know,
What's that?
Bonds.
What's Barry Bonds' home run record?
Is it 61?
No, that's Roger Maris.
Roger Maris.
Bonds is 70. Is 71?
73.
Maybe? 73.
I thought it was
That's
72.
so many homers. That is so many homers.
What if he
Judge
breaks that?
had, as of last night, Judge had 89 RBIs too. Like he's going to go for 140 RBIs.
He might. Yeah, that's crazy.
One of the best seasons we might have ever seen is going on right now.
Yeah,
He's hitting over 300 too.
it's unreal.
I went back and looked though.
And he
some of the
struck
best
out to
seasons.
Scherzer 3 times, and he's still just raking.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Scherzer's a monster.
A beast.
Christian Yelich. This is random, but Christian Yelich in 19, that might have been one of the best seasons in baseball history.
Yeah, it was.
That's unbelievable. I just happened to look up his stats the other day, and he's starting to hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd forgotten how good of numbers that was. Insane.
Yeah.
Christian Yelich's 2019 season's as good as any.
Well, his problem is he's just ever since then he's had back problems, and back problems don't go well with baseball players.
And they don't go away either.
Yeah.
At 1100 OPS is
Unbelievable. 1100
Judge-
OPS.
Judge is hitting
330
300 with 43 homers, 93 RBIs, 10 bags, and a 1.066 OPS.
That's nuts.
in 2018. Yelich had a 1000 OPS. Like, how do you have back-to-back 1000+ OPS seasons?
Yeah, those 2 years
That's
were
nuts.
crazy. The 19 season though, he hit like 44 jacks out of 1.1.
This is crazy about Barry Bonds is he hit 73 home runs in 153 games in 2001. That's wild.
That's almost. That's like 1.1.
Yeah,
That's literally hitting one every
that's
game.
one every
other
just
game.
over 2 games.
Yeah, just over 2.1.
Yeah.
Nuts. That's so many homers. But dude, Judge could do it.
He could
like
do
in
it.
that part, he could do it.
His
But you
OPS plus that year was
Maybe 1 or 2 big
259.
games where he hits like 2 or 3.
Like all
Which
this
he's
talk
done.
where the pitchers are too dominant, the mound needs to be lowered, like all this stuff. And if Judge just breaks the home run record and just flips everybody off, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that whole
we
thing
do.
Pete Alonso came out with about they're purposely making balls to where we can't hit them far so they don't pay us a bunch. Aaron Judge is killing that, isn't he?
Killing it.
He's
hitting
just
nukes.
slamming it, isn't he?
Next podcast, we got to talk about this. My grandpa Wilson sent me, my grandpa Wilson's always looking for stuff for us to talk about. He
Yeah.
did send me a video for us to talk about like moving the mound back, and somebody did this big YouTube video about it. So I'll send it to you, and then we'll talk about it in the next podcast. But I forgot to send it to you.
I'm
before
sneaky
today.
for it.
All right.
My 2-seam would move 27 inches. I'd be throwing it from first base.
The video actually had some really good points. Like, I understand some part, like the people who are against it, but I also understand being for it. So,
Arms would be shot. That's why it's never gonna happen.
well, no, there's a doctor that did at Driveline that did research on it, and they moved the mound back, and they did a certain amount of high schoolers, a certain amount of college guys, and a certain amount of pro guys, and there is actually less of a risk of you getting hurt because you have more time to react on comebackers, and they didn't see any type of change in like the arm actually
Comebackers.
having more.
How far are they actually moving it back? Because I remember before
Nobody's worried about
comebackers.
comebackers.
I know, but I'm just saying the doctor was like, there's nothing that shows that the arm is going to be put on.
What was this? Yeah, we'll talk about this later. But what's the sample here? 2 weeks?
I forget how long. I'll send you the video. We'll talk about it next podcast.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Chanel, you got a word from our boys before we head out?
Yes. Hit Factory Apparel. Everybody give them a follow. DNR 10 for 10% off. They've got the best baseball merch in the game. If you're a pitcher, pitchers only. But if you're a hitter, you got to check out Hit Factory Athletics. These guys got everything you need from elbow guards, shin guards, sleeves. You need in-game swag, they got it. You need casual swag, they got it. Everything you need. Check them out. Hit Factory Athletics. DNR 10 for 10% off.
Sweet. Yep. Appreciate y'all listening. We got a great interview, like we said. Ryan Webb, he's the man. He'll make you laugh. But appreciate you guys. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do so. Subscribe to the podcast. We love you guys. All right. We now welcome on a very special guest that I've been holding for a while. I wanted to get some minor league innings under his belt. But before we get into that, this interview is brought to you by Turtle Box Audio. You know them. We know them. The best speaker in the game. If you're in the water, bring it in the water with you. If you're in the woods, bring it in the woods. It goes anywhere, all terrains, the best speaker in the game. Use code DNR to get $30 off of your speaker. Football season's coming up. Like we said, it better be at the tailgate. And when it is, send us a pic, send them a pic, tag us, make it happen. They're the best speaker, DNR, for $30 off. But the guest is Ryan Webb, one of my best friends. Ryan, what's happening?
Not a whole lot. Just we actually just touched down in Myrtle Beach. Long road trip, a little bit longer than I would have hoped. Nice off day, 8-hour bus ride. But at least we got to go to the beach for about 30 minutes before it started lightning and storming behind us. But
Yeah.
doing good.
I heard there was a mix up on the way to Myrtle. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yes, we stopped in we stopped in a town I've never even heard of in North Carolina. And it was kind of on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina. And we get out. It's not really a whole lot to eat. There's one firehouse and like a McDonald's. So whole team goes firehouse. Get done, wrap it up. Hey, we're leaving at 2 o'clock or 1:45, I think is what it was. And we come back, and one of the buses, we take 2 buses, and one of them is on a decline and is stuck because the back wheels can't spin. It's not grabbing the ground. So they try to do a bunch of different things. They put some blocks underneath it. They get everyone off the bus. Maybe the weight will bring it down off the decline, so it'll move forward. But it ended up being about almost a 2-hour ordeal. Had to get a tow truck. Brought the tow truck out. Had to pull the bus back. Had to bring everyone off the bus. And they eventually brought it off the decline and pulled it backwards. And when they did that, I guess the tow truck was pulling so hard and the bus was so much and the concrete maybe was loose, and it probably left maybe a good like 3 foot, 4 foot just pothole, maybe a foot deep, just in the ground. So that was in the middle of North Carolina. So whoever's business that is, that parking lot we were in, they just got a destroyed parking lot. So they're just kind of
there's not this many bus mix-ups in like field trips or like anywhere else. In college, we never had any problems. Ever.
No, never.
Not once.
Yeah, they gave you the best to keep on.
We had normal charter buses that we ride now.
That's true.
Yeah, just
Big Dave.
no issues. Yeah, we never had any issues with Big Dave. I mean,
Big Dave
we would go.
there.
Yeah, I mean, 6 hours to Mississippi State, whatever. We stopped one time, dude can't park, and we're just next thing you know, a 5-hour bus ride turns into 8.
Big Dave will get you there, but you're hanging on tight.
Yeah, he's a little bit of it's like Ford versus Ferrari, but on a charter bus.
Charter bus. Yeah, we play cards on the bus because Big Dave had sent them flying.
Yeah.
Guys, the goat, though. Real talk, the goat.
Yeah. Awesome.
So we were having a conversation on here earlier about fantasy football. Dove into it. So me, Webby, Shook, all in the same league. Well, Emerson is also in that league. We've had Emerson on here. We just had him on for a throwback Saturday. If you haven't heard it, listen. Chanel brings up the question, is Emerson good at fantasy football? And,
Assuming no, he's not.
well, here's the thing, and Ryan can attest to this. When you say, is Emerson good at, the answer is usually yes. Regardless of what's in the blank, it's usually yes. It's infuriating, but yes, it's usually yes.
Yeah.
Fantasy football is the rare no.
Yeah.
He stinks.
Yeah,
Ryan, what's his problem?
Well, first, when we added him last year, I think a member left or something, or we wanted to add a couple more guys. And we were all talking, who should we add? And I was like, a perfect sucker who's an automatic, just nothing, who's going to compete in the league at all is Emerson. But like Cole said, I mean, he just does random crap and he's good at it all the time. He won't play golf for 4 years and he'll shoot an 82.
Yeah.
Like he's just a naturally gifted guy, but he's not gifted in fantasy football and being able to judge who is good and who's not. So last year, we added him to the league. Draft and all that stuff comes around, and I feel like sometimes in draft, I mean, Shook, Cole, you guys, and Schnelly, I mean, I'm sure you play. When it gets down to it and you see that clock ticking down, you start to panic.
Yeah, your heart's racing.
You thought the guy that you wanted was still going to be there.
Blows up in your face.
So blows up in your face. So Emerson, if I remember correctly, it was the 4th round or the 3rd round, and he took Odell Beckham in the 4th or the 3rd, coming off an ACL injury on the Browns when he was bad the year before. Panic pick, was all in on the hype. Was like, he's going to come back. He's going to be great. This, that, whatever. Kept him on his roster out of spite all season long and did absolutely nothing for him. And then he would come to me and he'd be like, hey, what do I need to do? I'd tell him what he needed to do. Nope, you're sabotaging me. I'm not going to listen. Well, I mean, I'm trying to help you to an extent because I did make the championship. I had a tough defeat in the championship, but I want to help my buddies out when they are clearly below me, just not even close in the stratosphere in fantasy, because you want it to be competitive. So
yeah. Emerson was a little bit of a doormat last year, but
is he a football fan? Like, does he watch football a lot or anything?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's a Dogs fan, and he watched, especially last year. He was all in. Like, don't get me wrong, he was all in on
he
this.
loved it.
It was not for lack of trying. He just stunk. But his problem is he can't, like with Odell, and this was anything Emerson does. He hates change. He hates it. He'll use the same golf clubs till he dies. Like, that's just how the kid is. Ryan, and Emerson had this 3-team deal pretty much mocked up. Like, the whole outline was ready to roll. And at the very last minute, Emerson's like, I can't get rid of Darren Waller. I can't do it. Darren Waller was like tight end 9. We're like, are you serious? He was like a middle part of the deal. He wasn't even like one of the main parts of the deal. He was like a secondary part. We're like, are you serious? Yeah, I can't do it.
Now,
I can't get rid of him.
Now, granted, Emerson at the time, Darren Waller had like a monster 2 weeks to begin the season.
So he was
like, oh, he's all in. Like, he kept his trade value at what it would be if he was the tight end 1 when he was tight end 12, and he was kind of hurt. So we had it all drawn up. I think it was a couple trades where it was me, you, and Emerson, and then you had another one with Emerson with someone else. Yeah, and he just wouldn't do it. He'd be like, okay, and then he'd back out and be like, nope, I'm done. No chance.
Yeah, he's got separation anxiety. So
a little bit. Yeah.
How have you been able to balance fantasy football coming up with baseball?
I mean, as you guys know, I've been in the leagues with you guys. I'm an avid fantasy football player. I do a lot of research. I make my own big boards. I go through a couple different sites, take my own.
I forgot about the Webby big board. He's sitting there in college. We're drafting in college. He's got his notebook and he's just crossing off players when they're getting drafted.
Yeah, I mean, I got guys that I value more than others, and it's a stressful time. I mean, it's a month or 2 in advance of what you got to do. And thankfully, I got the 4th pick this year. Should be wraps. I'm looking at Dalvin as a safe play, but I don't know. I told Cole and Shook that I might throw a little bit of a wrinkle in there in the 4th pick. So we'll see.
I would expect nothing less.
If you guys have someone drop out the league, I want in this league just because I honestly just want to watch how everybody.
Here's the thing about this league: it's super contentious for some reason. I'll be in 4 leagues and I'll put the least amount of money in this one, and for some reason I'm just all in on this one because it's just constant group message banter. So this year, I think I've said it on here before. We've developed rivalries, so we just straight up split in divisions. We're like, you're playing each one of these guys twice.
And Emerson was not for that, by the way.
Of course not. No, of course not.
No.
He didn't have. He's too nice. He didn't have.
It was 13-1. Emerson was the one that voted no.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we got divisions this year. Fantasy's the best. It's the best.
It's literally the best.
Speaking of football, dogs football's around the corner too, Ryan. As a fellow dog. And you looking to go to any games?
I want to. I wanted the Oregon Georgia game at the beginning of the season would have been great, but we're in season, so
Right.
I'm probably not gonna be able to do that. Clinch playoffs, so whatever. We're going to the low A postseason, but I wanted to go to that game. Yeah, I wanted to go to that game. Can't. My girlfriend's still a cheerleader, Georgia, so I'm sure I'll make it to one game sooner or later this fall.
Shout out
Jenna. Yep, she's awesome.
You could just pull the trigger on SEC championship tickets like me.
I could do that. I honestly should buy them in advance because Georgia's just about is. I'm not going to say the L word. I'm a big guy and I don't say that word, but Georgia is one of the safest plays for the SEC championship because Florida is dog meat. I mean, Tennessee is on the come up, but they're not. I don't think they're close to competing.
They won 7
yet.
games.
They did, and it was just like who was it? It was Tennessee with Butch Jones. They went 8-4 that year. They're like, oh, Tennessee's back. They beat us on a Hail Mary with Kirby's worst team, and then they ended up losing to like South Carolina
and Vanderbilt.
They lost to Vanderbilt to close the Kentucky. Year. So,
hey,
and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, being a Tennessee fan beats being an Illinois fan.
I don't know that it does. At least you roll in knowing you're going to suck.
Yeah, that's true. We know.
Tennessee has high hopes every year, and they just get dogged. So, yeah, they stink.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you one more thing before. Oh, yeah, I got one. Before we get into actual baseball stuff. Week 0 is coming up, college football. And this true or false, as a fellow man who appreciates this. Vanderbilt at Hawaii. True or false, the best best gambling game on the slate, maybe for the year.
I was hoping that you were going to say that because that game has been in my mind for a long time. Now, I like to provide picks. I'm very confident in the picks that I provide for guys, where if they want to gamble on it, I'm proud to say that I'm pretty good at predicting, spreads and stuff like that in college. NFL, terrible.
Responsibly.
Yeah, responsibly. Always responsibly. But this Hawaii Vanderbilt game, week 0 in Hawaii, has been circled on my calendar for a long time. Now, the spread, if I remember correctly, is Vanderbilt -7.
I've seen anywhere from 7 to 10.
Okay, 7 to 10. If it is more than a touchdown, I don't see how you do not take the Rainbow Warriors. They're in Hawaii. The Rainbow Warriors always cover in Hawaii.
You know what they don't ever factor in? You know what they don't factor in, Webby? They don't factor in that flight over the Pacific. That puts a toll on your body. The odds makers do not take that into effect. That's a stressful flight.
It's a 6-hour time change.
It's worse than basketball. Basketball is lock city.
Yeah.
But
But I think that Hawaii at home, they always play good at home. I'll never forget it. This was the first year I locked in on Hawaii. They were at home, same thing. They're playing Navy. Navy came off of a good year. Might have been 2018, 2017 fall. I'll never forget it. And I remember I was looking at it, and I was like, this game comes on at midnight. I was like, and Hawaii is 2 touchdown underdogs? I was like, this is a layup. They end up winning the game outright. I didn't even take a money line. But it's like, man, they don't lose in Hawaii. Now, they might be terrible, and they might have a bad team. And the spread could be +24. But they are not losing that game by more than 24 points. It's just not going to happen. Not in Hawaii, not in Honolulu, or wherever.
This sounds exactly like the conversations Cole and I would have when we were rehabbing last year. I hear Cole's voice saying this right now.
Yeah, no, that's a proven fact. The Pacific Ocean is not factored in. There's 2 things not factored in a line in Vegas, and that's heart and that's the Pacific Ocean. Those 2 things they cannot count. There's no numerical value.
No, none.
For those of you who bet baseball, sorry that you can't use these because there's no team in Hawaii. You should push for that and then win free money.
Yeah, always.
Actually, I do have one more thing before we get into baseball. This
Okay.
will be a fun little game. Shook and Schnell, y'all name any Division I team in America, and Webby will tell you their mascot.
FBS football team. I will say that I'm close to 100% accurate.
Louisiana.
I've stumped
Monroe.
him once. What'd you say, Shook?
Louisiana Monroe. They're the Warhawks.
Rice.
Owls.
Texas San Antonio.
The Roadrunners.
Oh, wow.
Oh
Impressive.
my God.
I'm not kidding. I've stumped him one time.
Virginia.
Cavaliers.
Thought that was a sneaky one there.
Can't
Trying to
say.
think of other mascots.
Golden
Indiana
Flashes.
State.
Sycamores.
So he said FBS. That's why I went with FBS schools.
Yeah, you can venture. You can
Oh, you
venture a
can?
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you can venture. I got him with what was it? ETSU. I got you with Webby. It was one of the Tennessee, like the little Tennessee schools. Was it ETSU or
It was one of the Tennessees. It was.
yeah?
It was
I think it was ETSU.
or it was like.
Because you
and
got
they're like-
MTSU and
I don't even.
yeah, ETSU was the only one I've ever stumped him with. Yeah, this
They
is
were
a
like,
game
what,
we
the Pirates or
actively
something like that?
played. Yeah, there's something.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I had no idea. That was one where I truly didn't know, but we did it in the training room one time, and someone went down the list of FBS schools, and I was however many. I was perfect. I got every single one. Me and my buddies would play it in high school, and I don't know why. I've just been locked in on it ever since. But yeah, it's a small talent.
Right. Yeah, it's honest work. You're pretty good
Yeah,
with,
it is.
with players and where they went to college too, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
Speaking of college
Yeah.
days, obviously we both went to Georgia. Want to talk about some of the things there.
Yep.
We've had Coach Kenny on. Coach Kenny is there. If y'all haven't heard that one, it's our pitching coach. It was a good interview. We mentioned the SEC tournament and what happened there. Can you run through your thoughts and kind of give the background, give the whole story build up, and tell us your thoughts there?
So for me, and Cole knows this, I'm super, super competitive once the game starts. Like, you tell me to get hot, there's not a thought going through my head. I am getting hot as fast as I can, and I'm going in there to do one thing, and that is to get dudes out. That's all I'm thinking of, is just trying to get outs. Cole was throwing a great game. And of course, it happens from time to time where, hey, Ryan, you're going to be ready for the 8th. Cool. Tossing. All of a sudden, all right, Ryan, you got the 2 batters from now. Like, well, I haven't done anything, but okay. So you just spring into action, get hot, get in there. I got out of the inning, I think.
You did.
We were tied 1-1 or we were down 1-0 or something. I can't remember the exact score. And I end up pitching 2 more innings, I think, or 1 more inning, and then I go to the 9th. We're up 3-1, out. And I remember it was maybe 0-1, 1-1, 1-2, 2-1, something like that. It was middle of the count. I gave up just a bloop single up the middle. And at that point, to me, it was like, this is my game to finish. And
I mean, you were shoving.
there was nothing that – and I was carving. It was one of my better outings that season. And I was fully confident that I was going to get the job done and game over. So I get the ball back, whatever. I turn around, and Strickland's walking out of the dugout, but he's not walking out of the dugout to the mound. He walks to the home plate umpire. And so I'm looking at him like, is he making a defensive replacement? Like, the thought of me coming out didn't even come to my mind. And he comes out and he's like, hey, Ryan, we're making the change. Give the ball to Shunk. And I just stared at him because I'm in warrior mode. Like, I'm not even thinking about anything. Just the fact that I'm getting taken out of this game, I didn't even flinch. Now, nothing against Shunk. He was a great closer that year. He won 2-way player of the year. But to me, it was my game to finish. And I just stood there. And he's like, give the ball to Shunk. Said it again. And I didn't move. I did not move. I was like, there's no way that I can come off this mound. He's like, Ryan, I went to the home plate umpire first because I knew you'd do this. I just took you out of the game. Give the ball to Shunk. And reluctantly, I gave the ball to Shunk. And I walked off the field. And me being just the absolute I just thought it was my game, and I'm super competitive. And me and Coach Kenny, you know, we butted heads a little bit. When I got to the dugout, we probably said some choice words to each other, but it's all in the right mindset of we both want to win the game.
Yeah.
And that was never a question of we didn't want to win the game or not. But to me, I thought it was my game to finish, and there was absolutely no one that was going to take me off the mound because Strickland knew. He went to the home plate umpire first before he even came out to take me out of the game because he knew that he wouldn't get the ball out of my hand. But that was probably one of the most mad I've ever been in my life. And, of course, we ended up winning the game, and everyone was jacked up. And I remember after the game, Coach Kenny pulls me aside, and me and him go at it for maybe 5 minutes. But, you know, like adults, you know, you say some things, shake hands, and move on. So
Hoover's also never seen a more elite glove punt in the tunnel either.
No, I did have a good glove punt too. That was elite. It was a couple steps down. So the way at Hoover, it goes down and then back up. Down the few steps, one step on flat ground, boom. I mean, I could have kicked that thing 30 yards. But being a reliever it's a lot of emotion, and you got to learn, and Cole knows, you got to learn how to embrace it and control it. And sometimes when you're in a high stress situation like that, the emotions get the best of you. I'm proud to say I have not punted another glove since that moment, coming out of that game. So
wow.
I've worked on it, and my emotions have been controlled a little better.
Nice. Any golf club throws since then or no?
Well, we did go to the beach in 2020. We did. I think that you, or maybe Mason, sent it to me. I think you sent it to our group message. And the record for a club toss is, oh man, I don't know how far it is. Maybe what was it, like 100 yards, 90 yards or something?
I don't know. I don't think it was that far.
Maybe it was closer. Yeah. But we were down playing golf. We were down playing golf down in Port St. Joe. And I remember I had a great drive. And I can't remember why I got so mad. Maybe it was because I had a great drive. But, I mean, I had a great drive, chunked my wedge. And, I mean, no hesitation. It was a fluid motion where I swung and just brought it back and just launched my club. And you could see it. It was like in air. I mean, it had great air, and it was just slowly spiraling down right off to the side of the green. And Mason is getting ready to putt. I didn't even know where the club went. I just threw it and walked off. Lands right beside him off the green, and he's like, looking around like, Ryan, did you just throw that? I was like, yeah,
it was on the green in regulation. He went from driver from about 90 yards in and just absolutely launched it and threw a dart with his thing. It was the first club that I've ever seen in my entire life.
The thing about athletes is when we get into pressure situations and our adrenaline's pumping and we know what we're capable of and we aren't getting jobs done, things happen. It's
fight or flight. It's fight or flight.
Yeah, and
there was no
hesitation.
Like you said, you're dominating and you get taken out and you're like, this is the dumbest thing of all time. You probably were like, I'm the greatest player on the field right now. Literally nobody's me ever.
I remember you punched out Heston Kerstad on a left-on-left changeup, and I was like, all right, Ryan is dialed. Ryan is dialed right now. Yeah. We were not losing.
Yeah, I was feeling great, and Cole pitched a great game. I pitched great, and then Shunk came in and got the last out. But that was probably one of the more times where I actually had to grow up because in that moment you're in college, you're in the SEC tournament. It's not about you individually, it's about the team. So whatever the team needed in that moment, the coaches thought was Shunk to get the final out. Now, I didn't like it. You know, Shunk got the out. Do I still like it? No, I still don't. But those are learning moments where you almost have to put your emotions away and your own personal goals and needs for yourself, where in college, it's the team. The team aspect is all that matters. In that moment, we didn't care how we won the game. We just wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
So
speaking of some of those learning things, like what's the biggest thing you learned or you took from college that you already see being beneficial now?
One of the most beneficial things that happened to me was my freshman year. I came in, I was a bullpen guy, and I pitched well enough. I ended up getting promoted to the starting rotation, and then I got demoted from the starting rotation all in the same season. And to me, I thought that I had earned enough to where going into the next year that I would, that starting job would be mine and it would be mine to lose. Come in the fall, and it wasn't that way. And it was almost a reality check to me, thinking that I had more to prove than what I'd already done, and what I had done wasn't good enough. So I battled that for 2 years, thinking that I had earned more, I deserved more, but that's just not the case. There's always more that you can do to do whatever you want to do, whether it's you want to be the closer, you want to be the Friday night starter, Saturday starter, whatever. And the biggest thing for me was I had a role, and I had to accept that role, and I was going to do that role to the absolute best of my ability. But it was a tough pill to swallow because I thought that I'd earned it, and it wasn't mine. And I didn't win that job my sophomore year. Didn't win it. Cole knows it. Me and him were in the bullpen to start the year. So I didn't win that job, and I didn't win it my junior year. And I thought that both times I had done enough to earn it, and I didn't. And it's just a pill I got to swallow. And whenever I get my turn to go out there, is you just got to make the most of it. That was probably the biggest lesson I learned is it doesn't matter where you pitch, what innings. If you go out there and do your job, you're going to get more opportunities, and you're going to pitch in the spots that you want to do.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, because that was you obviously, like you mentioned, you're a competitor. You're one of the most competitive kids I know, and to see you wanted that starting job, everybody knew it. You were outward about it, and when you didn't get it, obviously you were down for a little bit. But once the season started, like you embraced the bullpen as much as anybody else, and you were one of the most dominant guys in the SEC out of the bullpen. So I would agree with that. And then I'm sure that helped you a lot throughout your rehab too, because if you don't know, Ryan had Tommy John at the end of his season last year at Georgia. Just got back. What kind of went down in rehab, like mentally, physically, everything? Like, what were some of the challenges you faced?
So just to go before that, I had offers in 2020. Cole ended up getting drafted in the 2020 draft with Emerson. I had offers to sign out of the 2020 draft, and I ended up turning them down because I felt like that what I was getting told and all that wasn't up to my standards. So I decided to go back to school and really improve my stock as a starting pitcher. And I went back. I was having a pretty good season, and I had a little bit of an injury. I got hurt against Auburn, and I probably should have taken some more time off, but I didn't. I tried to pitch through it, and I was at Arkansas. I went out for the 7th inning, first pitch of the 7th. My arm just felt like it was on fire, and I thought it was a forearm strain or something wrong with my forearm because I didn't feel a pop. And I pitched about 8 more pitches, and then I had to take myself out of the game. And I knew it. I knew it was my elbow was blown. MRI the next day, revealed it was torn. Meet with your surgeon, all that stuff. But then that was the strangest thing is I had surgery. I was 8 months into recovery, and the draft hadn't happened yet. So being my age, I was 22 years old. I was a left-handed starter. There were some teams that just weren't in on it because I was already 22 years old. And then there were some teams that weren't in on me because I was Tommy John. So the group of teams that really were in on me, I didn't really know them. I didn't know where I stood in the draft. It could have been early, late. I was just kind of at the mercy of whatever team took me. And it was a stressful day. Probably more stressful than 20 when I ended up not going. Just because this one, there wasn't only 5 rounds. It was 20 rounds where you could potentially get picked. We're hoping that it would be early, and thankfully enough, I got picked in the 4th round by Cleveland. And immediately it was, hey, you got 3-4 days and you're out to the spring training complex, and you're not with your new draftees. You're by yourself in rehab. because no one else was rehabbing when I was there. And Cole knows this, and Schnell, you know this too, because you've had surgery too, where when you rehab, it's almost like you go in, get your work done, and you come back. And it's tough for you to be around the game and almost stay at the field just because you're not a part of the team or anything. It's weird to be around everybody when you're not healthy because you're on a different schedule. You come in early, you get done early. Everyone else is getting in later. And you're not an outcast, but it's just your schedules don't line up. So it's a lot of alone time. It's a lot of nights where you're just hanging out by yourself and just got to remind yourself that this is one day closer to getting back on the field and playing and all that stuff. And thankfully for me, I was able to not have too many setbacks. I was pitching in games actually 1 year from my surgery date in June. So that was awesome. And the rehab experience with the guys in Arizona through Cleveland were incredible. And even my PT back home, when I would go home for the breaks, they were unbelievable. I definitely would not be in the position I am without those guys. They helped me a ton, whether it was mentally, physically, coming back with pitches, control, command, everybody that was a part of that process, they were with me through that. So what I'm doing now is an extension of them because I would not be where I am without those guys and all their help and hard work.
Yeah, and you're back in the games now. You've had a couple outings. So how's everything feeling? You bouncing back pretty well?
Yeah, pretty good. It was weird when the build-up process. The 6 days we did it in college, and it could just be the rust and all that. 6 days in college still felt fine. There was no issue. But the 6 days here, maybe it's just a post-TJ. You wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I feel good. I could throw a little bit. The day after, so 2 days after your start, like today I woke up and I was like, whew, man, like my arm is way more sore than it should be 2 days after. That's probably the biggest thing that I've seen, and I was telling Cole earlier today, is that your body's still learning how to recover and learning what it's like to pitch and work out and all that all the time and throw every day. So your body's going to feel different things every day. You're going to go to the field and you'll feel great one day. You did all the preparation, but then the next day you could feel terrible after you prepared yourself to be able to go make that start or that bullpen or whatever, just because your body's still getting used to it. But for the most part, I've bounced back pretty well. I've been able to go at least 4 innings in all three of my last starts. I've been able to go at least 4 innings. Had a little issues with command, but it's slowly getting better and better. But I'm just thankful to be back out on the field again.
Nice.
Let me ask you this, Ryan, if you don't mind. So,
yeah,
obviously the Guardians now, they drafted a bunch of high school or college arms, when you came out, and then they drafted a bunch they drafted Parker Bessick, Dylan DeLucia this year. Has that been easier for your transition to see a lot of guys that are like you as college arms coming out in your draft class and whatnot, and kind of going through with them?
I think that with college guys, they almost know their own schedule and their own bodies. Because when you go to college, and Cole knows where your schedule is made for you. You wake up, you have class from this time, you know what it takes to get your body ready to lift, for conditioning, throwing, all that stuff. It's mapped out for you, but you still kind of have some leeway. And a lot of the college guys that come in, they don't have issues with their lift schedule. They know what their body needs. They know what their body can take. With the high school guys, it's almost like, I don't know what the word is, but it's trial and error. So they go into the weight room, they could crush weights one day, and they thought that their body could bounce back, and they wake up and can't walk the next day. So, or they long toss 2 out of 3 days, and then they get out on a bullpen thinking that their arm's going to be fine, and they might not bounce back the same as they did maybe in high school because the volume's higher, the throwing's higher. But that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen, and Cole can probably comment on this as well, is just them knowing their bodies and knowing what it's going to take to get out of their bodies. they have a better sense of that than the high school guys do, at least right out of the draft from what I saw.
Nice. Well, Webby, you say you're throwing Friday this week in Myrtle Beach. Is that what you said?
Yep. And then, and then hopefully next week I'd be throwing against Schnell. If Schnell's in the lineup, that would be awesome to be able to face.
You guys come to Charleston?
Yeah, we come next week. So I'm throwing next Thursday.
I don't know if I'll be here. I think I'm getting surgery on my shoulder. But if I am here, I'll see you.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay. That stinks.
It happens. But
that happens.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear it.
Baseball 101.
If not, I might. There might be a case where I end up DHing the rest of the year potentially. So I could still be hitting, but I don't know. I talked to a doctor today, and I have a posterior tear in my labrum that's progressed from last year. And there's a play when we were playing Lynchburg. I hit the wall, made a throw, and then I don't know. I just felt horrible the next day, and so I took a couple days off against you guys. I didn't play like the last 3 games, and then came back here and I played a couple games, and it was kind of bothering me. And I basically told our trainer and my coach or my manager, like, hey, I just want to play through it as much as I can. And they put me out there, and I played 3 games. And on the 3rd game, there was a ball hits me in center field, and it was low. And there was a guy on first, and he thought that I wasn't going to catch it. And so he was running, and I had to make a throw to first to like basically throw him out at first and double him off. And like I got the out, but it was just like too much of a throw. And since I've been battling it, so I got an MRI this morning. Doctor looked at it in Charleston and was like, everything. He's like, your shoulder looks great. There's just a tear in your posterior labrum. Like he was like 98% of your shoulder looks great. He's like, there's 2% of it that's busted up. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think the doctor in Florida is going to look at it. Another doctor is going to look at it. So I'm going to get some other opinions. But as of right now, the doctor that's about to look at it wanted to do surgery on me already. So I assume that he'll want to do surgery. So that's 2 out of the 3 doctors that look at it are on the surgery train. So we'll see. Hopefully it's just I've kind of come to, I'm okay with that. I'm ready to be healthy. Like I know my shoulder, there's something wrong with it, and I can't be 100% of the player I want to be with it like that. So I'm ready to get it fixed and then get back out on the field.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, whenever guys go through injuries, it sucks. But I was hoping to, maybe get an at bat against you, but obviously for you to be 100% healthy, that's the goal. So
100%. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Ryan. So hopefully I do see you in a week or so, but if not, good luck on your start, and we'll be talking to you.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.